Philly media members have a rough day, as Jalen Hurts and AJ Brown not only squashed their beef on the field, but dominated the Steelers en route to the Birds' 10th win in a row. Saquon might have been silenced by an injury, but did confirm some good news after the game, and hear why Jalen Carter's punch and scuffle with Sirianni might be the best thing to happen all day. How about J-Lux Hunt? Go ahead and take us into the intro.
Let's go!
If you thought the Eagles' passing game was broken and the Birds' internal issues were going to become a serious problem, well, I have some pretty good news for you this morning. None of that actually turned out to be true, or at least none of it seemed to matter on Sunday, as the Birds punched the Steelers in the mouth, dominated on defense, and had their best passing day to date, all while silencing the media members for at least one more week. Well, every media member except for Shannon Sharp and Ocho Cinco, who just posted this to their YouTube channel last night. Either way, I'm about 200 subscribers away from giving away this, the signed Cooper DeJean full-size helmet, to someone who drops a like, of course, is subscribed to this channel, and go ahead and comment down below where you would put this, maybe in your house. Gonna read all of those, and hopefully, once we hit 70K subs, give this away this week. Now, the Birds' win on Sunday honestly started before the game even kicked off, with fans not only flying a "enough fake news, Philly stands with 1-11" banner over the link pregame, which was awesome, but Jay Glazer confirmed the team came together this week with BG, Jalen Hurts, and AJ Brown all standing up in front of the entire team, apologizing and showing that everything's just fine. And clearly the Birds' first quarter was meant to send a message to all the haters out there, whether it be Jalen, AJ, Smitty, the passing game as a whole, whatever. They are as lethal as ever despite the noise.
So that's what y'all want to see, huh?
Jalen, you said you'll figure this out. Is that what we saw tonight?
We found a way to win the game.
After the touchdown, I know you guys have done it before, but was that kind of a good way to show people like,
for sure, that was our moment to tell everybody shut up, honestly, so yeah.
And honestly, all credit to Jalen Hurts. Like, we know AJ Brown is dominant if he gets the ball in his hands, but Jalen really showed the world yesterday when the defense forces him to pass, he can and will dominate. And after going an insane 8 of 11 for 98 yards and 2 touchdowns versus the blitz with a 139 passer rating all day long, he consistently stood in the pocket, made some great plays, and really did it all with his arm when people said he couldn't. I mean, how about the passing chart for Jalen on Sunday? Perfectly spreading the football all over the field, left, right, middle, and the AJ and Smitty route trees, they were money as well. This right here is Philadelphia at its most dangerous. Yes, they're great at running the football. Yes, that obviously matters. But when they're throwing the football as well, it's as dangerous as it comes.
The approach was a little different this week. And, the grass will be green where you water it. And we decided to water it. And kind of saw the fruits of our labor in that. Obviously, we've been watering the running game a good bit. And it's kind of natural to put an emphasis on one thing and kind of take an emphasis off of another and see what you guys have kind of seen. And so, we want to just continue to be well-rounded, push to be well-rounded and water all areas of our yard.
Jalen's court, I just think it kind of gets a little bit blown out of proportion. Jalen's quarterback rating's been over 100. Most of the games, I don't know what he was today, but most of the games he's been over 100. We're averaging 8.5 plus in the pass game. I just think it's been a little bit blown out of proportion.
It's a point of emphasis this week, and I think we're gonna move forward. They were pretty long. They were just added throughout our long day already. I'm not complaining about that anyway, but when you talk about something 10 times, you're like, okay, we got it, but it's needed though. It's needed, and who cares how long we stay in there, because we come out and we put it on performance like today. So
now, if you're like me and you've been running around like crazy trying to get ready for the holiday season, then now might be the perfect time to save a little bit of time on grocery shopping, meal planning, and cooking with the sponsor for today's video, Factor. Factor delivers fresh, never frozen, and dietitian-approved meals right to your doorstep. And in about 2 minutes, you have a customized dinner, heated up and ready to go with zero prep, cooking, or cleanup, which in my case means more time spent outdoors with my dogs and less time in the kitchen. And Factor is super flexible, and so you can change your order up literally every single week. You can go from as little as 4 meals during the week up to 18 meals during the week, and of course go from a variety of different foods for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. When I say Factor has a ton of different options, how about 40 healthy restaurant quality meals each and every week? Look at all this stuff. Ugh, it looks absolutely fantastic. All you need to do is use my link down below to get 50% off your first Factor box plus free shipping. And in an additional 20% off next month's order as well with promo code MONT50. That's 50% off plus free shipping plus 20% off next month's order whenever you go ahead and use my promo code down below, MONT50 with Factor. And really, for 9 straight weeks, teams have allowed Saquon Barkley to run all over them. They have not wanted the passing game to get going. And honestly, credit to the Steelers for having a pretty good game plan versus Barkley in the run, right? They held him to 65 yards on 19 carries. And I mean, the Birds still ran for 131 as a whole, but clearly keeping Barkley contained was a major focus for the Yellow and Black.
We always knew that it was going to come a time where we needed to rely on throwing the ball, and it happened, and we were there to answer.
What did you think of the way Jalen stepped up today?
I mean, have all the confidence in him. We know that can happen. It was just a matter of getting that one team that just wanted to stop the run and wanted us to win the game through the air.
Were they doing extra additional to stop the run?
Yeah. The way that they play defense, they add a lot of guys into the box and things like that. So we knew that coming in.
I promise you, if Saquon was, if we were getting big gains with Saquon, we would, that would have been different. It would have been probably a different story. Who knows how that game would have played out. But they did a good job on the run game. Saquon still got loose and still, I don't know what was his finals, 75 yards or something like that. 65. So, they did a good job of doing that. But, Jalen did a great job of when it was when we couldn't, get the run game going the way we wanted to. And I'd say, again, Pittsburgh held teams to 90 yards rushing, and I know we had more than that.
There's also some speculation that Barkley got hurt on this tackle on his knee near the goal line because Kenny Gainwell got a ton of carries in the second half where you'd think Saquon would be the main focus. But Barkley did confirm post-game that, yes, he's a little banged up. It actually didn't happen during the game, whether you believe him or not, and it was all precautionary. His lack of touches, he's going to be just fine. As it stands, Barkley sits less than 400 yards away from Eric Dickerson's record with 3 games yet to go. It's possible he needs about 130 plus a game, but 2-6 post-game doesn't seem too worried about anything but winning.
Obviously, I've heard the talks. I know the number. I know what it's to get. Kind of messed around with it, with the emotions of how I feel for it. But the mindset is, don't be scared of it. Embrace it. It's there. Challenge yourself to try to go get it. But at the end of the day, the most important thing is winning football games. And if that's in the way while we're winning football games, then that's in the way. And if it's not, it's not.
Now, in some other injury news, Jalen Hurts confirmed post-game that his bandaged-up finger on that left hand is in fact broken and did take a toll on him Sunday, but he's not too worried.
It is broken, and it did impact my play.
How? Is it just really tougher to...
Yeah. It's broken, so yeah.
Also, A.J. Brown is fine following the hip drop tackle that was not flagged for some reason, NFL. What are you doing here? There's no update on Landon Dickerson's knee. That seems to be the one kind of quote-unquote major injury. Didn't seem too serious, though, because he was on the sideline the rest of the game, but he was the only player that did not return who got hurt on Sunday versus the Steelers. Now, right now, the media is trying to make this viral moment on the sideline between Nick Sirianni and Jalen Carter kind of the main story of the day, which, honestly, we've seen this before going back to the Saints game, and I'm fine with it. Like, Jalen Carter punched a Steeler player on 4th down that drew a flag, and it was pretty darn dumb. He was this close from giving the Steelers an automatic first down after their punt that would have given the ball back in Eagle territory. Sirianni explained post-game it was simply a teaching moment that needed to be had with the second-year player.
I'll never get into the conversations I have with players, but he made a play that is not part of our standard. And so, my job is to correct that, and regardless of what it is, we're gonna correct the things that we need to do better and praise the things we need to do well. And so, in that moment, that's what that was. I love Jalen Carter. I love what he brings to this football team. Right there, he needs to be smarter in that situation because it could have gave him the ball back. It didn't give him the ball back, but it could have. And so we're going to need to get better from that. And so that's what you do as a coach. And again, he played a good game, and I'll watch the game to see, how good of a game he played. But we need him to be better in that scenario and be the consistent player that he's been for the entire year.
Personally, I'm fine. Carter's a young player. He can be a little bit of a hothead, and these are moments that need to be taught. That way it doesn't come back to bite us in the postseason. This right here is a nothing burger story, and ignore anybody who tries to make it that at least the next couple of days. And Carter's fire is something that I honestly love about him. I mean, go back to the Darnell Washington attacking Darius Slay as a play. That's a great example of both Carter and Q running in to defend their own. Personally, I love the fire. I love defending your own, and I can live with a few hot-headed mistakes, hopefully not in the postseason, but all love for 98. Also, can we get 2,000 likes for Lane Johnson dominating on an island yet again versus TJ Watt on Sunday? Like, technically, yes, Watt did have 2 sacks on Sunday, but none were actually credited to Lane Johnson. In fact, in 38 pass blocking attempts, Johnson allowed 0 sacks, hits, pressures, or pressure rate. Literally 0 across the board. And as Jordan Mailata said post-game, he's the best offensive lineman in the NFL by far for a reason.
Knowing that he had no help, that's my player of the match. He's a hell of a player. Like I said, I tell you guys all the time, that's the best tackle, that's the best O-lineman in the league by far. No one comes close, not even me. And that's why I say chasing greatness is a big thing for me. And I'm very privileged to have him on my team because chasing him makes me a better person.
Now, besides the passing game scrutinies, the other main issue Philadelphia has had the past couple of weeks really has been the slow starts. And that, again, was fixed on Sunday as Philadelphia took the football on their opening drive, threw through the air, and went all the way down the field, settling for a Jake Elliott field goal. Back on defense, and the Steelers ended up going 3 and out on all 3 of their first drives. Giving the ball back to Kenny G, who spun his way for a first down, but then great punch out here from TJ Watt. This saved the Steelers from being down big earlier in this game. Still, though, the Eagles' defense would hold again, but then Cooper DeJean would fumble the punt, giving the Steelers back-to-back fumbles and great field position in the span of like 2 minutes. Still, though, the Eagles have the #1 defense for a reason, and all they do is hold people out of the end zone in the red zone. The Steelers would settle for a field goal to tie the game up. Back on offense, and how about another drive right down the field, capped off by the now viral touchdown pass and the awesome celebration between A.J. Brown and Jalen Hurts, setting the link absolutely on fire and silencing the criticism, like I said, for at least a couple more days.
Well, the scrutiny's never ending. It's nothing new, and so that's something that I find a thrill in, and I appreciate being told I can't and that we can't. And I know that I lead this team, and it takes a lot out of it. It demands a lot out of you, and I just want to show up and be the best teammate, quarterback, and be the best I can be.
A lot of tough conversation. Have those uncomfortable conversations with each other. I think that's why this team is so close, and that's what makes this team so good. Is everybody can have those uncomfortable conversations with each other, and nobody feel no type of way.
Back on defense, another stop here. Ball back to Hurts, who again was unreal on Sunday, marching up and down the field. Another touchdown pass perfectly designed to Smitty. Birds would go up 17-3. Early in this football game, Philadelphia could do absolutely no wrong. Something that is kind of the opposite of what they've been the past couple of weeks. Struggle early, then get hot late. They were great early, struggled in the middle, and then got hot late again for a massive win. Still, though, credit to Russell Wilson and company. They had a nice bounce-back drive late in the second quarter, and 3 would hit 88 for a touchdown to get this game somewhat back close, which I do think is worth noting. Lots of media people are calling the Steelers frauds today. Saw it happen on Get Up. This is a good Steelers team that just happened to run into a great Birds team at the buzzsaw that's called Lincoln Financial Field. Also, big credit to Jake Elliott for his field goals on Sunday. Philly would drive again to start the third quarter, but have to settle for a 41-yarder that Elliott would eventually nail. Hopefully a confidence builder for the postseason for number 4. Down 7 in the third quarter, and Pittsburgh would hit a flea flicker. Nice play here. But then how about Najee Harris? His turn to fumble the ball away, giving the Birds the football and really the win the rest of the way through the third quarter. Following the fumble, the Birds would take that football, march it 13 plays down the field in a masterful 6.5-minute drive, capped off by a brotherly shove that blew this game wide open. Even crazier than that, though, is what happened in the fourth quarter, as Pittsburgh punted the football after driving pretty nicely into Eagle territory, giving the ball back to the Birds with exactly 10.5 minutes left. And the Steelers, after punting the football, would never touch it again. Philly put together a masterful 21-play, 10-minute, 29-second drive that would essentially end the game. Pittsburgh never even had a chance to answer. Whether it was running the football, whether it was throwing the football, that drive alone was a handwritten message sent to the league that the Eagles will beat you any which way. You just basically have to pick how.
I mean, we knew what the first 5 plays were. And as an O-line, we were up for the task, and we just said, F it. We got to do our job up front, give this man as much time as possible. And holy cow, that was a hell of a game by 1, 11, and 6. So it ended up being the Jalen Hurts, A.J. Brown, and Smitty show. That was pretty cool.
We were resilient. It wasn't pretty. It wasn't super explosive in the run game, but, we kept attacking. We had some things go our way, but our passing game has definitely improved. And at the same time, you can't be one-dimensional. We don't want to be one-dimensional. We want to show that we can win both sides of the, passing and running. And so, it's a hard-fought game. You talk about the Steelers. They've always had trenches. They've always had great elite guys on the edge. So, it was a tough game.
Now, elsewhere around the league, we were watching other scoreboards as the Lions gave up 48 points in a loss to the Buffalo Bills, putting the Eagles just one game back of the 1 seed, but not officially the 2, thanks to the Saints on their own failed 2-point conversion versus the Commanders. Still, though, 3 games left and a much easier schedule. All Philadelphia must do now is win out and get one loss from both Detroit and Minnesota, and the road to the Super Bowl, at least in the NFC, will go through Philadelphia. Just don't tell the guys this because they don't really seem to care.
And I know it's only one game at a time, but looking slightly ahead, the Lions lose today. Number 1 seed is still definitely in play. How much are you guys paying attention to that?
On our personal time, I guess. But we're more focused on what we got to do next week, and whatever happens, happens. We play Washington, so that's what we got our eye on. So
We made a good statement, but at the end of the day, we got to keep going. We got a couple more games to go. You know, we haven't done anything yet in my case, but at the end of the day, man, we just got to keep going and, you know, finish.
Doesn't mean anything. Don't worry about the next game. And everyone else knows that. So it's great to win games. It's cool to set records in history. But at the same time, we left a lot of plays out there. And it was a great win. Don't get me wrong. I'm not being down at all. But we're not focused on, you know, chasing records or anything.
And that alone right there is the biggest takeaway for me, and apparently Diana Rossini as well from the locker room last night, who said, quote, walking out of the Eagles locker room tonight, and let me say, this team has 2017 magic with some 2022 to it. I think injuries are my focus for the next couple of days. Where's Landon Dickerson at? Is Saquon Barkley okay? But just take a breath for a second and realize what Philadelphia did on Sunday. This Steelers team really had been red hot, and people were calling them a dark horse favorite in the AFC. They were this great defense that was finally going to silence Philadelphia. Can you throw the football at all? And the Eagles did all of that. They silenced Pittsburgh, they dominated a great AFC team, and they threw the football to the tune of almost 300 yards through the air, and Jalen didn't have an interception in this game. He was incredible. And so if you see an Eagle hater out there, if you have a friend who's doubting the Birds, maybe just say, hey, I think we get the benefit of the doubt right now, and if they can get the number 1 seed in the NFC, all bets are off right now as the league starts to kind of shift towards this January focus of going to a Super Bowl. Obviously, plenty more stuff happening the next couple of days and weeks. Be sure to subscribe. This is going to be given away, I think, this week. It can make for a really good Christmas present if we get to 70,000 subs. So help us out, hit that red subscribe button, and hopefully one of you guys can rock the Cooper DeJean helmet to your Christmas dinner next week. I'm Thomas Mott. This has been The Thomas Mott Show.